President Trump spent much of his speech criticizing former President Biden's economy and its policies, calling them the worst ever.
As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare.
The reality: when President Biden left office, America's GDP was set to grow faster than all of its peer countries, according to the International Monetary Fund. America's economy was also described as the, quote, envy of the world by The Economist, which added, America, quote, left other rich countries in the dust. President Trump also made some dubious claims on inflation.
Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure.
So that claim is partially false. While the inflation rate hit its highest peak since 1981 in June of 2022, it wasn't the worst in history. That was right after World War I, when it reached roughly 24%. It should also be noted that by the time Biden left office, inflation had fallen to roughly 3%, Joe.
And again, I guess we have to point all this out. I mean, I think our viewers are smart enough to know it. But again, America's economy was the envy of the world, and our inflation rate lower than almost all of our allies. Let's bring in right now former Treasury official and Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Ratner. Steve, I get it. It's so elementary. It's kind of boring to me to have to just state something that is quite so obvious, but it becomes necessary the morning after so many things it said that are just not true, especially about the economy. The economy, by just about every standard, was stronger than every economy in the world, as Mika said, as The Economist has said, as people, leaders across the world have said. The United States economy, the envy of the world before Donald Trump got into office. It's not looking quite that way right now because of the fear of tariffs, the stock market going down, the economy slowing down, consumer confidence slowing down, people on Wall Street afraid to move forward with mergers and acquisitions because of the fear of the unknown. We could continue to go on. But again, the reality is starkly different than what we heard last night.
Yeah, Joe, obviously Trump contorts the facts to fit his narrative, but he did that with abandon last night. He did inherit an extraordinarily strong economy from Joe Biden. Obviously, we had COVID. Obviously, that wasn't good. We suffered some inflation. So did all of our trading partners. Our inflation was no worse than theirs. It has come down sharply. And now Trump is applying a set of kind of incoherent policies to the situation that, in my opinion anyway, are more likely to make things worse. You've got the tariffs, which we can talk some more about. You've got his budget plans, which would explode the deficit, reward rich people, and so forth. And so it's not a set of policies that is, that appears on the surface anyway, likely to actually improve the economy. And I think it runs a reasonable chance of making the economy worse. Inflation is going to be a problem. It's going to make it much harder for the Federal Reserve to bring interest rates down. The Trump policies are inflationary, notwithstanding what he says. And so he's starting office, I think, in a considerably weaker period in a way than he did last time, in that he's got to bring his job should have been to bring this economy into a nice landing and get it back fully functioning. But instead, he's going off into these rabbit holes of tariffs and this and that I think will end badly for him.
Expensive rabbit holes, and we're going to get to your charts in just a few minutes, Steve. Joe was right, Jonathan. 100 minutes, the longest speech ever before Congress by an American president, breaking Bill Clinton's record by 11 minutes, his 2000 State of the Union address, just for the record there. Trump did acknowledge when talking about tariffs, the term he used was a little disturbance. to put it mildly. There's going to be a little disturbance to the economy when these tariffs are really felt by consumers and people who make cars and everything else. But clearly standing by them, 25% on our biggest trading partners to the north and the south. We did hear from some Republicans, John Thune yesterday, saying these tariffs are going to be temporary. Don't worry, they're going to go away. We're just trying to extract something on fentanyl, for example, and containing that at the border. I'm hearing from Howard Lutnick as well. You know, people trying to mitigate what Trump is doing. Are they concerned when you talk to them about the impact of these tariffs?
Yeah, one of the defining images of the day yesterday was that most cable companies were showing the stock market ticket in the corner, like real time, seeing it go down as the day went on. And you mentioned the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, gave an interview with Fox late in the day, suggesting that the tariffs on Canada and Mexico might even be reduced slightly today, already suggesting that they might alleviate some of this. And that's what I was hearing all day yesterday, talking to people in the White House in the Trump orbit, that they are a little rattled by how this is being received. They're not going to back off entirely. Obviously, we heard from the president last night. This is part of his economic program, a big part of it. It's something he's believed in for a long time. But it's not being well received by the markets or by, as you mentioned, several Republicans who were there. And Allie, you know, there was actually shockingly little news in this speech last night. Yes, a little bit on Ukraine, just the talks would restart again. But that's because Zelensky earlier in the day had said he wants them. And aide said they would revisit this minerals deal. It's not done yet, though, and certainly nothing really concrete towards any sort of ceasefire. It was, though, a speech marked in the 100-odd minutes or so that Trump was up there with dozens upon dozens of falsehoods, including a long recitation of false claims about Social Security. And we know that there was cries from the Democrats in the audience, including they got one lawmaker kicked out, saying that don't touch Medicaid. You don't have a mandate to do that. So let's talk about that right now, because that seems to hover over all of this. Yes, Elon Musk got cheered in that room yesterday, but there's seemingly some growing discontent and worry, at least among some Republicans that I've talked to, that this administration might be going too far too fast.
Well, too far, too fast. And specifically when it comes to potential Medicaid cuts, that's actually in the hands of Congress right now, because there's 800 some odd billion in cuts that are detailed right now, specifically to the Energy and Commerce Committee through the reconciliation process. We watched the House jump the first hurdle on getting into the real building blocks of that bill that's going to be the vehicle for many of Trump's campaign promises to be turned into legislation. And so there is some consternation when it comes to Medicaid cuts. And part of the reason that Speaker Johnson had such a hurdle in getting through the initial procedural vote on this is because some more moderate members within his conference were coming to him saying that they were concerned about the on-the-ground impact to their constituents who rely on programs like Medicaid. So we're watching to see how they actually end up building that legislation in real time. But I also thought with Democrats last night, and I'm sure, Mike Allen, you saw this too, there was really a striking dissonance, I think. The debate that we often hear from Democrats of how best to respond, what should it look like? Should it be an all-out resistance? Should it be something that's more tepid? Should we be swinging not at every punch? We saw that on display last night as even Congressman Al Green got kicked out at the very beginning of the speech, but then you have Alyssa Slotkin giving a more muted response in a state that Trump won, but also that elected her.
No, Allie, that's exactly right, because these members know that a lot of what Trump is talking about is popular, and the idea of what he is talking about is popular in many cases. We have a column up on Axios right now by Jim Vandehei and me, Trump on steroids. And what we saw was 9,900 words, 100 minutes of Trump being Trump. Yeah. Trump powering past those literal headlines that we just saw and sketching what he sees as his golden age. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. I think this was a new one. No tax on car interest payments on cars that are made in America. And he's saying more chips, the best chips, more cars. And the caveat to that, the reality check of that is that, like, these are contradicted by so much of the data that we're seeing. And he is saying that he's going to set this high bar and stick with it.